what does it look like to be in Jesus's inner close friends?
I would feel so honored, like I'd be like, yay, my bestie is my bestie.
Jesus view my story.
You have to be, I feel like, bringing light. I think Jesus wants to know who you are, and he wants you to know who he is. Therefore, that's why you would be in his inner circle. In today's social media driven world, the idea of following someone takes a completely new meaning. But what does it mean to follow Jesus? In this episode, we explore how Jesus might be on social media, what kind of content he would share, and what it looks like to truly be in his inner circle. I think that Jesus sees us a lot like an orange. If you squeeze an orange, you're not gonna get apple juice out. You're gonna get orange juice. Jesus has no problem with us wanting to go online to get money, but what he does have a problem with is the why. When you get squeezed, when you're in that mindset, you need to make sure that greed isn't coming out of your heart. You need to make sure that love is coming out of your heart. I think he wouldn't be on social media.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason why is because I don't think our society would let him be on social media. You know what I mean by inner circle? Like when someone posts and you see like the green friends. And so like, what does it look like to be Jesus's friend and see his like exclusive content, Well, that sounded bad. I need to reset. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the show with high hopes and good vibes. My name is Joe Klein.
And I'm Erica Bankston.
And you're now listening to
Cheerful Thoughts.
I hope everyone had a great week. Such a great week, in fact, that maybe, just maybe, if you think about it really, really hard, you have some cheerful thoughts to share. Do you have some cheerful thoughts to share?
I do. Yeah. I woke up this morning and my kids are healthy. My husband's healthy, and I get to be on this awesome podcast.
This is an awesome podcast. And you know what's also awesome about this podcast?
What?
We got merch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I get something, right?
Yeah. Yes, you can get something. I don't have it here, but I will give you some merch.
I do. I would love some. I love this. Cheerful Thoughts is
Thank you.
Such a good name.
So for the people who don't know, here's the idea behind Cheerful Thoughts while we're on this, and then I'll do my cheerful thought. I'm not skipping out. Is we hope to obviously have good conversations for those who are listening, but also like have a pearl line going in the background. And someday, if we just happen to get famous and we're making money just from views, we're going to be giving 60% of that back to missions. So that's the goal. We're going to ramp up to it, cover production costs. And then once we get to where we're covering more than production costs, everything goes to missions. So that's the goal. So when you buy merch, that's what you're buying into.
Yeah.
Okay. My cheerful thought of the week is... Okay, have you seen Gabby's social media videos yet?
Yes, a few of them, but I haven't. I'm going to be honest. I haven't had time to listen to the whole thing, but I will. I'm going to today. No. I'm going to.
Okay, so
I love you, Gabby.
We started like a new social media campaign, basically, because she has some new music coming out. And so we're posting like a lot of more so like trendy pieces of content on her page. And that's been a lot of fun seeing that go out and people react. That's my cheerful thought of the week.
That's
obviously
exciting.
Alongside all the stuff you said about being my family healthy, all the different things.
I also got a new do, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay,
I know that sounds kind of like a little egotistical, but as a mom that like is always taking care of other people, when you go and you get a new haircut, it's like you feel like a new person. And that brought cheerful thoughts to my mind.
Okay, now it sounds like I need to go get my wife a haircut.
Yeah. Yeah, always.
Yeah, I hear.
Or a facial or a massage. She'll love it all.
Okay, it's coming soon. But it's Father's Day, so maybe you need to buy that for me right now.
Yeah, she needs to worry about you right now.
Yeah. Okay, so before we jump in, can we actually tell the people who you are and what it is that you do?
What is it that I do?
Yeah.
My name's Kelsie Jo. I am a photographer first. And, well, I guess not first, but I'm a mother first and a wife, and I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer since I was a junior in high school. And now I'm kind of going down a new path of social media, of influencing, of affiliate marketing and things of that nature. And it has been so much fun. I mainly put a lot of my effort into TikTok, which... TikTok's kind of up in the air right now, but I also have my backups and, like with Amazon and Facebook and Instagram and all of that. But it is so much fun. I love, it's not even just like getting the free PR and like the products and stuff. I love, like, someone could literally send me a mug that they make.
Yes.
And I'm like, how can I market this in a way? Like, if this were my coffee mug that I was trying to sell, what would I do? And that's just so much fun to me. It's like you're the producer, you're the director, you're the actress. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too.
Okay, so that actually is perfect, because that's segueing into what we're talking about today. If Jesus was in your role right now, what would that look like? So in today's social media driven world, the idea of following someone takes a completely new meaning. But what does it mean to follow Jesus? In this episode, we explore how Jesus might be on social media, what kind of content he would share, and what it looks like to truly be in his inner circle. You know what I mean by inner circle? Like when someone posts and you see like the green friends, that means that, you're in their circle, you're their friend. So like, what does it look like to be Jesus's friend and see his like exclusive content, Well, that sounded bad. I need to reset. Oh my gosh.
Redo.
So, no. Okay. What does it look like to follow Jesus and be in his inner circle? And basically what it would be like to be in Jesus' circle. How would he share, and what would it look like to truly be in his inner circle? We'll reflect on how our online lives can reflect biblical truth and what Jesus would say about being an influencer. Dun, dun, dun. You're an influencer.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm an influencer too, though. So
hey,
let's get it. Okay, what would Jesus post? So here's the type of thing here's how we like to structure the episodes here. We like to give our opinion because it's fun to give our opinion. And then we like to back it up with what Jesus' opinion is. So let's start with this first question, and then we'll obviously come back and back all of this up with biblical truths and see what Jesus actually has to say. So in your opinion, what do you think Jesus would post if he was on social media today?
You know those people in your life on social media that like post once a year and you're like, hey, they posted. Yeah, there's an update. I feel like that would be Jesus, because he's so busy like actually talking and healing people in person. And then he'd post like one thing and be like, hey, I'm gonna go spend time with the Father, and we're like, yay, and like millions of views, millions of likes.
You don't think he'd be posting to his story like, yo, come join us at Peter's cookout?
All the disciples would be his like social media assistants.
I would love to go to a kickback with Jesus and the disciples.
Same. I would love that.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
You know what? I just thought about it. A lot of people only think about like his inner circle being men, but there were women disciples. I can't remember how many there were, but there were quite a few women disciples in there as well. So it would be like a party for everyone, basically.
Oh yeah, always.
Okay, so you think like Jesus would be offline more?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, I think that he would post. I think that it's hard.
It is a hard thing to think about, because I mean, we would love to assume that Jesus would do some of these things, and given the world today too, because back then they'd be like, what is this thing in my hand with the screen?
Yeah.
But it is really hard to consider. And that doesn't also mean that just because Jesus wouldn't post doesn't mean that I shouldn't. That doesn't make me a bad person or not striving to be like Jesus. I just think that Jesus had a lot of kingdom work in his mind. And of course, all his posts would be kingdom minded, but I think he would just be so busy healing people and rubbing dirt in people's eyes that he Peter would be the one, or Matthew, I guess. Matthew was the recorder. Yeah. He would just be recording the whole thing and posting it for him.
I do get what you're saying, and I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. But I guess I'm thinking too also, if like Jesus was a storyteller, and we see a lot of people online, like, movies, like that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, that's true.
We see, we have video, obviously. Video wasn't even a thing back then.
And he would want to reach the masses.
Yeah, he would want to reach the masses. And so he would have the opportunity to do that and tell stories. The other thing, too, that I'm considering is there are a lot of people who do find Jesus through content like this online.
That's true.
And
The Chosen.
obviously God knows that. So I think that he would try to utilize it. I'm just going with there's a question of if he would utilize it or not at the end. But I'm just going to say in this context, I think that if it was available to reach and save someone, God would do whatever he needed to
For sure.
go further and do that.
For sure.
Because that's why we're here. We believe that what we're doing and the steps that we're walking online is from God himself.
Yeah.
And so even if it's not like being done through Jesus, I think that Jesus would have people in his circle like us who are going out and sharing our testimony about him from being around him, which is literally what we are now, if that makes sense.
And like, Jesus is supernatural. So like, how when you watch a video of someone and you can just literally feel the Holy Spirit through the phone and you're like, oh my gosh, like they just exude Jesus. Jesus would be, you'd scroll and you'd see Jesus's post and you'd be like,
Yeah.
I mean, you would just fall out.
Yeah.
It would just be so overwhelming because it's Jesus. It might be through the phone, but he's a supernatural guy. So
Yes. Okay. So John 8:12, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. That makes me think too. I was considering this. I think that maybe Jesus would have his comment section turned off. Because
it's a smart idea.
Because I think that a lot of times with social media, when you're putting out light, the comment section itself turns dark. And I just don't see so much help. I think that's the one of the worst parts of social media is the comment section. Specifically on Instagram, it's terrible. TikTok better. Facebook is amazing. Facebook's probably the best as far as all social media platforms. But I don't think that Jesus would be trying to have those type of conversations with people online, if that makes sense.
Right.
I think he would be trying to have them with them in person. Therefore, he would have his comment section turned off.
I agree. I think he'd have it turned off because it can get really dark. Sometimes I have to stop myself from reading comments. Like if I come across a video that is a little, I wouldn't say controversial, but like in my head as a realist and like someone that thinks about every single side of things, I'd be like, well, there's someone in there that disagrees. And so I might try and find the disagreement just so I can read into it. And it's not always good to do that because it can really put you in a negative headspace and not full of the Spirit. And like, that's what I want. I want to constantly be full of the Spirit. I'm not perfect, but I just always want to be walking alongside Jesus. So if I read a comment that is skeptical and, negative based, it's going to, it might defer me. It might like kind of try and push me towards my flesh versus the Spirit. If that makes sense.
No, 100%. Another thing that I was thinking about too is the kind of follow-up question is, what would it look like to be in his inner circle? And so I kind of want to talk about that too. Mm-hmm. So to describe what I'm specifically talking about, like when you go on social media, you can post, and I know that you know this, I'm describing it to the audience, you can post something that only your close friends see. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe what it's called on Instagram, is like close friends. Mm-hmm. So when you post that to your story, does it work on your feed? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it might just be story.
Yeah, so story. But then on Facebook, there is another setting where you can only post to your friends.
And TikTok, you can do friends.
And not your... So obviously that community that's in there is closer to you. And so what does it look like to be in Jesus's inner close friends? That's a question for you to answer first.
I would feel so honored, like I'd be like, yay, my bestie is my bestie,
Jesus viewed my story.
It's kind of like when people like you look up to likes your posts, like, I don't know. I'm sure might get a little laughs, but like when you have like a pastor that you look up to or something that like likes one of your posts, you're like,
Yes,
like
100%.
I am so honored, know, which I feel like, especially the pastors in my life, like I feel like they don't do that as often because they don't want people to like constantly seek validation from them, but seek validation from the Lord. And so, like if Jesus just went and liked my post, I'd be like, I don't have to post for the rest of my life. My validation is complete.
Yes, I feel that. So I do the same thing, but with comments. So like if I comment on someone, like, I don't know, some person with status and they like my comment on their post, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm famous. I'm famous. He liked or she liked my comment, I
actually have a comment on this girl's post. She made like a joke about how her husband surprised her with a self-tanner machine. It's totally off topic of this podcast, but I commented something kind of funny on it, and it keeps getting likes on it. Like I keep getting notified. It's like, you have 1,800 likes on this comment. I'm like, gosh. I am famous.
That's what my wife does. She's like queen of the comment section.
Is she?
She'll go comment and she'll be like, look, I'm getting all these likes. I got the most like comment on this person's post.
I love it. It's always the introverts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The introverts are so good at comments.
They're like clever.
They are. They're witty and clever.
That's so funny. Okay. So I think what it would look like is, first of all, to be in Jesus' close inner circle means that not only are you interacting with his content, but your content has to be in a place to where he's interacting with it as well. So you can't be having raunchy stuff on your Instagram to be in Jesus' close. You have to be, I feel like, bringing light. So whatever that means, like for you, some people, it could literally be like flowers and like good quotes or scriptures or whatever it is over their Instagram. I think that Jesus would be more likely to go to a person like that than someone like most people on Instagram, including myself sometimes, who only put like the highlight reels of their life. I think Jesus wants to know who you are, and he wants you to know who he is. Therefore, that's why you would be in his inner circle. And so if you're not being authentic or, I don't know, bringing light to social media, I don't think that he would be there. And why the reason why I say that is because I think there's a difference in between being real and not only putting your highlights on Instagram or whatever social media platform. I just think there's a balance between like depression, like, oh, I'm sharing this depressing season that I'm going through, or just being real and just saying, you know what, this is who I am right now. And it's just a photo, and maybe it's just like an emoji caption.
Yeah.
And like, you could feel the energy coming from that person. And maybe you're like, I know I have friends who, when they post something like that, I'm like, okay, like they probably are going through something. Maybe I should check up with them.
Yeah. Let's check in.
Honestly, so like, I feel like, this may be controversial, but
well, it is the internet, so
yeah. Okay, so like Justin Bieber right now, like the stuff that he posts right now is the exact reason why so many people are like, "Are you okay?" Because he's posting stuff exactly what I'm talking about, but there's no light in between. And don't get me wrong, his captions are bad. Like they are saying stuff they shouldn't be saying with the photos that are also like not his best looking self. But I just think that, I don't know, I just don't think that Jesus wants to interact with that online,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more of like a, hey, Justin, I'm chasing you, like the Justin stuff breaks my heart because, just knowing people in your own life that kind of go through similar situations. And we don't know everything, we don't know the details. We don't know what he's going through. We don't know what him and his wife are going through or any of that. And all we see is what he chooses to share, or even like what we get to see because he was on stage at a SZA concert,
Yeah.
I think especially being a celebrity, it's like so important for us to pray and just believe that Jesus is going to encounter him. And I think Jesus has encountered him before.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love you, Justin. if this comes across,
sure.
I love Justin, and I think the Lord's healed him already.
Yeah.
I believe for it.
I was telling Erica about this before all this stuff started happening with him, that every day when I became a Christian when I was 14, from 14 till probably like 17, every day I would pray for Justin Bieber to get saved. Every day. And so when it actually happened, I was like, there's no way God heard my prayer. Like, what? Like, because he was one of my, I think at that time, I was listening to some of his songs, like Baby with Ludacris was at that time. The One. He was
Some good ones.
Getting into rap a little bit more, like working with rap artists quite a bit more overall. And I was just like, man, I love the energy that he gives off, but like where's it rooted? Like I wish he would be saved. Is what I was thinking, because it would be so cool if he made songs like this and mentions Jesus' name. And then it happened, and then he was on stage with Maverick City Worship one time singing. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Like, you heard my prayers.
Thank you, Jesus.
It's crazy that you bring that up, because I made a video to post on TikTok, and then for some reason TikTok like unsynced the sound, so it was off, and I was like, I can't post that. Nobody will watch that.
That's fine.
I guess I need to send it to you. Maybe you can fix it for me.
Yeah.
But the Joe Rogan, I started praying for him 3 years ago when I started my podcast, and I was kind of I would like listen to his stuff every now and then, just like because he had controversial people on during that a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And I was always like, gosh, Joe is like so close yet so far. Like just some of the things that he would say, I'd be like, yeah, that's what the Bible says. Like, you're so close.
Yeah.
And then he'd say something, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I started praying for him, like seriously praying for him. And I just saw something last week that he's going to church regularly now. He had a podcast with, I don't know his last name, but he's an apologist. Wesley, starts with an R, I think.
I don't know, but I need to go look this up.
Yeah, he had a podcast with him in January, and he was very like intrigued by the conversation, and it kind of opened up some.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what church he's going to,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
how, but the fact that he is
going at all. Yeah,
or
that's
even
crazy.
talking about it, I was like, I started crying when I found out.
Yeah.
And then I had to fact check because I wanted to make sure he really was going to church.
Yeah.
But
And you found that he actually was? Okay.
yeah,
Whoa.
the Wesley guy mentioned it on a podcast that he'd been texting with Joe, and like Joe was going to church and all of that. So
That's crazy.
I know.
like he's never really been against, he's pro-religion, but for the reason why people who aren't Christians are pro-religion, which is like, it's a net positive, is what they say. Obviously, it's a net positive, but that's crazy. That is wild.
don't stop praying for the celebrities and the politicians. Don't stop praying for anybody.
Yeah, we're not going to talk politics.
We're not, but I'm just saying.
I'm joking. No,
you
you're
pray
good.
for every side.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what Jesus says about being in his inner circle. John 15:15. This is the NLT, in case anyone wants to whip out their Bibles. But you're probably driving or washing dishes, so I know you can't do that. Okay, I no longer call you slaves because a master doesn't confide to his slaves. Now you are my friend, since I have told you everything that my Father told me. Oh, that was it. I read it weird. Let me read that again, people. You are no longer called slaves because the master doesn't confide with slaves. Now you are my friend, since I have told you everything that my father's told me. Yeah. So we're his friends. So being his inner circle. I think it just looks like, I know it sounds weird, but like, make sure you look like who you say you are. If you're a Christian, make sure you smell like a Christian. Make sure you look like a Christian.
Take a shower.
Like bathe in the Bible. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, you know people by their fruits.
Yeah.
I think, especially anyone that has kind of grown up in maybe a little bit of a legalistic church environment, a religious environment. We think that like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be hanging out with Jesus. So like, I got to clean up and I got to like, make sure I'm perfect, like walk on eggshells. And I think it would be the absolute complete opposite. I think it would be like, you would see Jesus and it'd be like freedom. I don't have to think about what I'm doing and not doing. I just need to be with Jesus. I just need to seek Jesus. And then Jesus fills me up.
Yeah.
And I'm just cheerful,
Yeah.
joyful.
Yeah.
And all of those good things come out of me because of Jesus. It's not like I have to. That's why I think it's so hard for people to go to church, because they think that they have to clean up in order to go to church. And we're like, no, that's why we say come as you are. Like, please, like, we don't care if you stink or, or you don't have your Sunday best, or heck, we don't even care if you wear shoes. Just show up.
I think another reason why people are afraid is because they don't know who they'll become. And that's a real thing for Christians,
or
too.
Or what they'll have to get rid of.
Yeah, we go through, like, this is a real I still face this in different situations. When you get close to Jesus, you're going to become new because you're going to become like him. And it's more like you're going to become a new. So you get a new refreshing each step, each level that you get closer to him. But you're afraid of what that looks like and what you may have to give up, right? So some people, they may be afraid like, oh, I can't go to church. I feel like at some point I just won't have, the same taste for nicotine that I did before. And that's a real fear. Or they'll be like, oh, I can't go to church. I'm just afraid I won't want to be around my friends anymore. And these are things that we are thinking.
Something.
We don't say out loud. In reality, Jesus doesn't care about any of that crap. He just cares about you.
Yep.
And he just wants to be near you. He's like that friend who invites you to the party and he just sits there with you the whole time while everyone else is doing whatever. And he wants to do whatever you're doing. He wants to talk about whatever you're talking about. He actually cares about you.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about what everyone thinks about you two. He cares about you.
So maybe he would be on social media the one, like, as soon as you post something, he's like, hey, I love you. You look great. I love you. You're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Kind of like the obsessive mom on social media. It's like the first comment.
I think that would actually be, I could see that being Jesus. Yeah. Or I think he would do it in person though. Still like, oh my gosh, I saw that picture of you.
You think he'd respond to all the DMs?
Oh my gosh, no way. Jesus will have 1 billion DMs. Yeah.
I mean, he's supernatural though.
Yeah,
he'd just be like,
I know. Yeah, just little AI angel bots.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So then let's answer the big question. I guess kind of wrapping up this segment. Would Jesus even have an Instagram in the first place? This is a real question.
I think so. I think Jesus would want to be able to reach whoever at any moment, at any time. And I think my question would be like, I think he would be so controversial too. Like, the algorithm wouldn't really know what to do with him.
Yeah, sure.
I think it would be like the verge of like shadow banning and virality, because there'd be so many people instantly hooked by him, but there would also still be people wanting to fight and wanting to argue against what he's doing, because he would be posting stuff like, hey, saw this blind man on the road and the father told me to put mud in his eye, spit in the mud and put it on his eyes. So here we go. Yeah. And then everybody sees that and they're like, yeah, but like, how did you do that? Like, I bet that's not real. We would be questioning like, is that really God or is that AI?
I think he wouldn't be on social media.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason why is because I don't think our society would let him be on social media.
Yeah.
When we see these like culture setters, like real culture setters, I don't want to get political, but you see them and it could be they're setting culture in a good way or setting culture in a bad way. But when you see these figures who come on to social media, they get thrown off. I mean, they've just been getting thrown off. So I just don't think that, and these are just them, right? Jesus is Jesus. There's so many people who know who Jesus is versus these other people who are human. I just don't think that, I don't know. I don't think it would fly. I think he would get banned.
Yeah.
I really do think so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that there would be a lot of deep conversations had about whether or not Jesus was going to be posting or not, or like we would have, everybody always wants to share their opinion, which, I mean, it's not always a bad thing, but it's like, it's kind of like, did you see, I don't even really know much about it, but the rapper Gorilla got a gospel award because she was in Kirk Franklin's song? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And man, all the Christians are just going nuts on TikTok about it because they're like, she's not even a gospel singer and she got a gospel award. And, it's like, I think we just get so wrapped up in the things that Jesus just...
He doesn't care.
No. Yeah. It's just like Jelly Roll,
Yeah.
A lot of people have opinions about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I love that Jelly Roll is getting impacted by Jesus and that Brandon Lake is so close to him. And like, that's Jelly Roll's only piece of Jesus that he has close to him like that. And I mean, who better?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
To do that.
I will say.
Oh boy.
How in the world did Glorilla get a gospel award?
Is it Glorilla or Gorilla?
Glorilla.
Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing.
Have you
Edit that
listened to any of her songs?
Yeah.
She literally said on stage when she accepted the award, because she has an accent. She's like, I can't. Oh, and she's like, I just can't believe that I got this award. She don't even say award. She say award. I just can't believe that I got this award. Y'all know what I be saying. So I was just surprised.
She said that
say, y'all know what I be saying. So I'm just surprised that Kirk Franklin even joined on the song with me. I'm like, what? You did one song and you get the award, first of all. And like, I'm like, there's so many other people who are black who do sing gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just me. I don't watch the BET Awards, so I don't like take that with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like Nicki Minaj getting a gospel award.
Yeah.
Like based off the music that she has.
It just causes so much uproar. But did you see the baby video of her on that podcast?
Yes.
I died laughing.
Yes. Oh,
hey, I hope you turn me into a baby.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. I've been asking people's permission because I don't want to get like in trouble. I think they just passed a law about it or something. About like you can't use AI to like impersonate somebody or something. Like without their consent.
Good.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad they did that.
I know, but they're still doing it of all these like politicians and stuff. Okay. Let's see what Jesus says about would he even have an Instagram?
Let's see what the Lord says.
Let's see what the Lord says. Okay. You know what I thought about? It's like Murray when the results come.
You're not the Father.
Jesus is the Father.
Yeah.
Jesus is the Father. Okay. Luke 19:10. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. And so that's the scripture that I have. Therefore, I think that there are a lot of lost people on social media. Mm-hmm. So I think that Jesus would be on social media. Mm-hmm. I just think that it would be maybe more so in a limited capacity.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
And then also think about, this just dawned on me, the monetizing. Because if he had millions of views, you know what he's going to do with that money. Yeah. He's not keeping it for himself.
Yeah.
Like, imagine all the money that he could
give back
through that. And honestly, like, if you really get down to it, to the root of social media, at first, before anybody could really make money off of it, it was very much like just posting to post to like, keep your family updated or, to seek some validation of some sort. I'll admit that. But now it's like, oh, I can make money through this. And that's all you see now. At least that's what my algorithm is because, I'm a content creator. But it's like, well, I made just keep posting because one of your videos from a couple months ago is going to make you 40 grand and you're going to wake up. And I'm just like, okay, like if that happens, cool. But also at the same time, I think that's why I have to be, I do need to make it a habit of starting with the Lord every day, because if I make it about me, it might be successful, but it won't be in the way that he wants it to be successful. If I make my social media platform, and of course, every video doesn't need to be like Jesus, like talking about Jesus. I need to exude Jesus in whatever I'm doing. You're never going to catch me saying anything derogatory or, talking negatively about people or anything, in that capacity. But I pray that one day people, especially young people that want to get into the social media game and be a content creator or an influencer of some sort, that they know who to go to first.
Yeah.
And that it's not about, it can be a hard game to play because posting and making videos and I'm the only actress in the video, it can become a selfish mindset of like, okay, like how do I need to do this? How do I need to do that? And it's so important to have that foundation of who do I turn to when I'm confused? Who do I turn to when I feel like I'm thinking about myself too much? Because am I trying to gain a following for myself, or am I trying to gain a following to create more leaders, create more disciples? It's kind of like young people, like you don't just want to like lead them just so that they love you and like follow you around everywhere. You want to lead them so that they become leaders too. And that's kind of how I pray and hope my platform continues to become.
I think that Jesus sees us a lot like an orange.
Yeah.
And I'll explain what I mean by that.
Please do.
If you squeeze an orange, you're not going to get apple juice out. You're not going to get tangerine juice out. You're going to get orange juice. And so I think that Jesus has no problem with us wanting to go online to get money. Like if that's our main goal, let's just say that's our main goal. We want to go online because we heard that some influencer told us we can make a lot of money. I don't think that's a problem. I think Jesus has no problem with that. But what he does have a problem with is the why. And so what I mean by that is when you get squeezed, when you're in that mindset, you need to make sure that greed isn't coming out of your heart. You need to make sure that love is coming out of your heart. So it could be like, for instance, I hope that, not hope, like one day it's going to happen. I'm going to be rich and God's going to get me there and help me get there. And what the reason for that, though, is not so that I can go whip around 5 cyber trucks and have different color ones and, have this huge house and all this
Tesla
stuff.
for you, Bronco for me.
Well, I would have both,
okay.
Let's just be correct here, There's not so I can do all that. It's so that I can give back. Whether it's someone local, definitely like do missions and helping someone who's never heard Jesus hear Jesus for the first time, because those things take money. It takes time cost, so you need money to do these different things. And I think that when you get squeezed, if that's what's coming out of your heart, like that's not a problem. And so yes, go do you. Go try to make as much money as you can to help God get closer. Some people are supposed to be like the transition. Like some people worry about if they're supposed to be the hand and feet. Some people just need to be the legs to get the hand and feet where they need to go, if that makes sense. And so that's what people...
That's true.
That's what God needs, those people too. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Be an orange.
That is a good analogy though. And I think, and if you are in that, if you are kind of in that world of like maybe thinking about getting into social media or content creation, you're going to have those days where you're questioning yourself or you're having that conversation with God, like, hey, am I in the right spot? Am I glorifying you? Because there were a couple months that went by this year that I wouldn't say that I was like playing myself, but I feel like I wasn't really in it with him. Like I think that if I would have had success overnight, I don't think my instant thought would have been to glorify him. I think it would have been like all my hard work, all my late nights. This is this is why I have this.
Yeah.
And I had to go through like, he will teach you things.
Yeah.
I had to kind of go through like a dry patch of like, I know you want me to do this, but I have to bring in an income from my family, you know? And so there was a lot of back and forth with him of whether I needed to still do this. And I got a little taste of the blessing and then it went away. And so it almost felt like it taught me that no matter what, if it's getting blessing or if it's not getting blessing, I still need to praise him and I still need to worship him, because if I don't worship him, Joel actually just taught about this last night, Wednesday night, my pastor, he said, whether or not you worship Jesus, you're going to worship something.
Yeah, for sure.
You're either going to worship yourself, you're going to worship other people, or you're going to worship fear, or you're going to worship another God of some form.
Or all of them at the same time.
Yeah. And a lot of us, I feel like, especially in America, we worship ourselves a lot, and people, of what people think about us. And I think that it is really, really hard to juggle when you're doing social media. I mean, I'm sure you could
for sure.
attest to that. That's why it's so important to start your day with the Lord, no matter what, and have him lead you. Sometimes I'm like, hey, can you give me some creative ideas? Like I'm at a wall right now. Like help me. And I'll just lay there for a little bit and it's like, boom.
Yeah.
You know, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And there's even like, I know this might sound weird to some people, but like even as I'm making a video, I'm about to do something, he'd be like, sit down and do that. Like I'll be like showing a hair tool or something. He's like, sit down on the floor and do that. And I'm like, why? Just sit down on the floor. And it's like, you don't know why, but sometimes it's little things like that you listen to him where it doesn't feel like you would have naturally done that. And then that could be the reason that people watch it, because you're sitting on the floor. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. I think that like whenever you are doing this, you have to be constantly listening to the Holy Spirit, because if you don't, at some point or when the views start coming in, you think that it's your own confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if you laid the foundation of this is happening because of God, then you're already at a good starting point. I'm sure that if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I would naturally go back to that video did well because I listened to you.
Yeah.
I sat on the floor. As simple as that was, I listened to you and I didn't listen to my flesh.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, guess what, everybody? I'm super excited because we're about to do some reacts.
Oh, good.
And you've seen what these are, and they're very, very funny. Are you ready for some reactions?
Yes, I'm ready.
And this is before we actually close out. Okay, so I've seen these for a while. I'll give some kind of some context. So I've been seeing these trend for a while on Instagram. I haven't seen them much on YouTube and things, but basically it is these videos of people turning Bible characters into influencers. And you get to see what their life would look like as an influencer. So that being said, okay, let's jump in. This is going to be so funny. I know.
Yes. An angel literally showed up and said, I'm going to have a baby from God. Like, what?
Okay, I told Joseph. He froze for like 5 minutes, then asked if I was sure. I said, absolutely. He's been pacing in the backyard ever since. So we're heading to Bethlehem. 9 months pregnant. On a donkey. This is not how I pictured today going.
Okay. I'm about to give birth. There's a cow snoring, no bed, and it smells like donkey. 5 stars for privacy, 0 for comfort.
Hey guys, he's here. Born right here, in this cozy barn. We're tired, but our hearts are full.
Okay, not even 24 hours old, and he's already getting gifts. Baby's first collab? We'll unbox later. Love you guys, Carrie. Don't forget to like and pray.
We'll do a haul.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that one was Mary, if Mary had an iPhone.
So God literally told me to go to Nineveh, and I said, nope, booked a ship to Tarshish instead. Let's see how that works out. All right, guys, got my ticket to Tarshish. Cheaper than therapy. Just got to stay under God's radar for a bit. Okay, not gonna lie, I think the radar picked me up. Wind's crazy, ship's shaking, and I'm starting to think God's not thrilled about this trip. Okay, guys, quick update. I'm the reason for the storm.
They voted, I lost, and apparently the solution is...
All right, not dead. Just got swallowed by something.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Like
He has a flashlight on his camera? How did his camera
yeah,
survive?
I deserve this. I ran, I got swallowed, and now I'm literally sitting in fish guts. God, I know you're watching. I'm listening now.
I just got puked out by a fish the size of a house, and I'm covered in stuff I can't even describe.
Did you turn Australian?
But hey,
I know.
fresh air.
That's
So yeah,
true.
learn my lesson. Don't run from God. Like, comment, pray, and I'll see you in Nineveh.
That's true. Don't run from God. Like, comment, and pray.
Day 1 of ark building. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but wait till the rain hits.
All right, it's done. And here come the animals. Whoa, whew. This boat's gonna smell fantastic.
Rain's starting, and I almost forgot the clothes
This one
on the
is
line.
hilarious because so many
40
people
days
do
in this
this for
tunic
real.
would have been rough. So yeah, no internet, 500 animals, and I already regret sitting near the camels. Man, it's so boring in here. I already read the whole Bible. There's only Genesis so far, so that was quick. Okay, rain's finally slowing down, and I think we just hit land at Bertef. The ark legit stopped moving. All right, landed safe, but my 5G's still dead. No service since the second giraffe walked in.
All right, not gonna lie, it rained a lot. Upload got delayed, but hey, drop a like, leave a comment, and we're back on dry land, baby.
Like and
I
subscribe.
don't know. Like and subscribe. Okay, I think this is the last one.
G-O-D is about to BRB. These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down.
That's good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
Moses.
Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match. Day 2 in the tomb. No Wi-Fi. No snacks. Just kind of waiting for God to respawn me.
You know I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're
Brother's so
looking a
jelly.
little sus.
I'm supposed to say that God got me pregnant? Yeah, there's no way my parents are buying this story.
Yeah.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry, dude, I just took a poop over there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's good.
I actually, okay. I almost like, that's so funny. I'm almost like, would Jesus be posting this type of stuff on his Instagram? Because it brings so much joy to me anyways.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh.
And people, was that all created by AI?
Yeah, it's called, so what they do is they generate an image first, and then they go into this other AI and it animates the image and turns it into video.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
That's stuff I have not looked into.
It's a lot. And it's kind of expensive. Oh my gosh.
Is it?
I'm still okay.
He's still
I do.
paying off the baby video.
I know. Okay. Yes. I like these because like whenever he was like, Genesis. I only have Genesis to read. It made me think. I was like, oh, really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went back and I was like curious about reading to see like, wow, at what point with each character, how much of the Bible was written? Because that's something you really don't think about.
Causes you to think about
A
it.
ton, yeah. So I know it's like for humor. Obviously, I laughed, but then I was like, oh, huh. There's a little bit of. It's like I don't know how you would not
Makes you
get
question
positive
things.
from stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
would.
God.
I think my favorite one to follow would be Moses
Yeah,
for sure.
I would want to follow Peter probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Hey, I'm trying to walk on this water. I'm walking right now, but oop." But But wait, Jesus told me to look at him.
No,
Jesus told me to look at him.
Peter would probably be walking on the water and then pull out his phone and do a selfie, and that's when he goes under. Like, look at me.
Jesus is like, you're thinking about yourself again.
I know. Oh my God. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay. Can you let the people know where to follow you? All the different things.
Okay. So TikTok is Peace, Love, and KJ. And my Instagram is Kelsie Jo Photo. Facebook, I don't know what it is, but it's my name. And I guess, I don't know. What do you do when you say Facebook?
I don't.
Okay.
Because it's only for my family to know that I'm still alive.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, just follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I guess I need to get a YouTube.
Is it at Kelsie?
At Peace, Love, and KJ, at Kelsie Jo Photo.
Okay. And YouTube coming soon. Because that's where it's at, YouTube people.
I know. I need to get on the YouTube train.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You guys have a great week. And I hope that you come back with some cheerful thoughts for next week. Or you come back with some photos that you tag us in from the merch that you bought on our website. Bye.
Bye.